Well, this amazing place appeared over 40 years ago. My dad had a garage out at Frankton, and a lot of people used to come in and ask to see where you could see kiwi. And so we knew this old rubbish dump area in Queenstown existed. So we obviously applied to the council to say, look, we want to build a bird park. I mean, in those days, they were thinking we're crazy. It was just an old rubbish dump area, Queenstown. Yeah, the site was just so overgrown with blackberry and broom and old car bodies and rubbish everywhere. But anyway, we got stuck in and started clearing this land. We've actually planted out about 50,000 native trees over those 40 odd years. And we've taken a lot of the Douglas fir out and pine tree. That was a real hard job at the start. I mean, we knew nothing about how to falling trees. We were falling trees and we had power lines in the way, and one time, a tree falls through the power lines. But 40 years ago it was all pretty casual, it cost us a few beers back in those days. The most amazing thing about the place is it had a spring in it. And that still produces to this day, and that's the essence of the place. And we used to sit around, Dad and I, have a cup of tea, we'd take the water out of the spring, make a brew, and dream what can we do with this place. Dad always had a passion for conservation in New Zealand, and we thought, well, if we could build this Kiwi Park into something that visitors could come and help fund what we'd like to do for conservation, that would be wonderful. And it just grew from a few numbers 40 years ago to what it is nowadays.
Some of the key moments along the park has certainly made me feel part of the family and part of the story. I'm a third generation here at the park. The conservation show, which opened up in 2001, it was New Zealand's first free flight bird show, and so we used to have birds flying right over the top of your head, and that's certainly been a huge draw card to our tourists that come through our door. So here at the Kiwi Park, we're trying to create a world-class visitor experience, and that experience is only funded by tourists that come through our door. It funds our projects like our big Kiwi house that we've created a few years ago. This Kiwi house is a world-class visitor experience, and it also helps fund our breed and release programs. Our main focus is obviously on kiwi, but we have other species in our park like the kaka, whio and pātaki. And this year we made up 10% of all national releases for the whio, which is the New Zealand blue duck, which is just phenomenal.
So there's been a lot of new additions to the Kiwi Park since we first opened 40 years ago. Even in my time here, since I started 4 years ago, I've seen so many new things, from our new honeybee centre to the new Kia walkthrough experience, and especially our new Kiwi house, where we have an amazing immersive Kiwi encounter. And we're working really closely with Department of Conservation and a lot of university groups as well to keep our kiwi in the best condition possible.
A lot of companies have got on board. Obviously Air New Zealand flew all our kiwis in the early days back and forth, they still do nowadays, and move our bird life around, as well as Department of Conservation support us what we're trying to do with those conservation programs on particular species that we breed.
Kiwi Park's a mainstay of our community. We know at the moment nature is under stress. We have 28,000 species that only exist in New Zealand, and 4,000 of those are becoming threatened or at risk of becoming threatened. So look, we work very closely with the park. Things like the new Kia habitat is really exciting and offers that opportunity for Kia to breed in a more suitable space. So working with the likes of Kia Conservation Trust, iwi, ourselves and the park, really exciting to see that.
The park has always been about two things: wildlife and people. Getting the public, particularly youngsters, interested in conservation is what's going to keep things heading in the right direction. School trips to the park are always free, and to see the custodianship of this place pass through the generations, from Paul's parents to us, and now to Richard and his children. It really is a sense of great pride.
So, having recently enjoyed the privilege of a visit to the nature park close to the gondolas, I was delighted to become aware of the progress which has been made in establishing this truly worthwhile business in Queenstown. The dedication and sheer hard work being poured into this project by the Wilson family, and the obvious sincere feeling and care of the bird life introduced has combined to provide an outstanding feature well worth a visit. And I take opportunity of congratulating those responsible of their foresight and endeavour. Literally read this in 2026 and think it was from a news article from today, so it's still sort of summarises what we've sort of been doing for 40 years, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, every time I walk past that sign, Richard, you know, I see mum and dad there, your grandparents and all those great-grandparents. It just gives me great memories of how we started this place and how we're continuing it on as the Kiwi Park with you now. It makes me quite emotional at times to think that we really have been passionate as a family to continue this legacy on, and how proud they would be of us.